all of my stuff in here. So like my virtual machines. So this one right here, the PMAT Flare VM, and
Mhm.
then also the PMAT Remnants. That's my environments for my malware analysis. But then Pfsense malware range. This is where I actually incorporated it in here to actually set up my to have those two. I guess specifically, let me go to it to have it to where these would allow for those two environments to be segmented by themselves and they don't have to interact with the outside world. But also, if I needed to, I could actually go back to here. Where is it? Like Flare VM.
I freaking love Flare VM.
Like this is I'm really just getting into it. Like I'm still fully setting everything up. So everything isn't in place yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's got everything you need, man. And just add a few more tools, man. Like Prop Dot, you got that one?
you said which one?
Prop Dot.
I don't have that one yet.
God, yeah, such a good tool. Help visualize the processes on malware.
I gotta try it now.
Yeah, man, it's a sick tool, man. I want to demo that at some point.
I want to set off all kind of stuff in this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also
Go ahead.
look,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
No. You're good. Nerding out. Go ahead.
Bro, I be the same way sometimes. I started getting into something and like looking at even like this, the Flare VM. I can go in here and connect this adapter or disconnect it so that it doesn't have any internet access. But if it stays connected, of course, I can get access to the internet in here.
Mm,
Or you could actually go inside of PFSense and turn it off that way. But the easiest way to do it for me is just go into edit settings, click the connect button, turn it off.
right.
See if it's gonna do it from here. Yep. So and here I just go in here. I bet I changed this. Or did I? Nope. So I changed everything in here. So all of my settings and stuff. What I ended up doing was I went into each one of the individual boxes and changed their IPs to a 192. So my WAN is 1064. This one is 100.1. So I can kind of gauge everything from here, like my interfaces and my services, just to kind of make sure that everything is in sync. And all of the rules and stuff are set properly. And even
Mm.
going back to here, I can see, let me see, that's my PF sense.
That's pretty sick. How to like, instead of running a ping, you can just look at that graph thing and see, make sure you're not connected to the internet or something like that. You'll
Yeah,
see.
that was the biggest thing too, because for me, I've been a told my whole system, and it would be it'll be
Yeah,
all my fault. So,
that's pretty cool.
be trying to figure out like why everything went to hell in a handbasket, and that was the reason why.
Yeah, fucking APT fucking on your network now. You don't even know it.
And then say for instance, if I close this, took this, I can throw this out of the way somewhere, anywhere. Take this and pause this session. I'm all about adding value or helping out my network in any way I possibly can. Like, and if I can't help you, I can point you in the right direction. Having a full. The goal was to follow a similar concept. So basically, creating a host-only environment. Even in ESXi, there is a way to click a button that allows you to do host only without any issues. Essentially, like you would do in Workstation or either what's the other one? VirtualBox. So with either of those two, there's a way to click one button which calls you to do host only. But with this one, the goal was to follow a similar concept like that. But when we were going to working with or familiarize ourselves with like vSwitch port groups, VLANs and uplinks, stuff like that. Um, basically, there was an image that I had, basically where it was like the home network, which would be the physical switch, ESXi server, which will be the vSwitch 0, which will be the firewall. Let me see if I can go in here and show it to you too. We close this one, and this one. So vSwitch here. So these are the port groups. So the home network, well, the vSwitches, which would be this one. vSwitch 0, which here would be the firewall, which is the one that switch that the what is it called? Shoot. Pfsense. Pfsense is on that one. Then of course you have the physical NIC, which is right here, which is vSwitch VMNIC 1 and 2. So these two are both enabled and both have an Ethernet cable going from my home router to my server that I have. So that's these two. And then of course there's the ESXi server, which is the virtual switch is where the malware is going to be isolated, and then with no physical adapters connected to the vSwitch, which will be the Linux instance. So basically what it would have done was, if you need internet access, you can just virtually connect the router to the firewall on the vSwitch, which also has like a connection to the physical network, and out to the internet. So that's an option that you have. The two vSwitches are isolated forms of each other, and the malware vSwitch is completely isolated in terms of having like an uplink or a physical network adapters connected to it. That's how those are. How I actually went about doing this or setting up like the malware analysis lab part of it was actually going through TCM security. But the thing that I ran into, which I couldn't find was how to do host only in ESXi. I couldn't find anything, but then I finally found something after the fact that I did like the Pfsense and setting up the rules and stuff in there with these two networks, basically setting them apart from all the other networks, so I don't have any issues with that.
So how'd you do? How were you able to turn off and on your host only?
So basically, we talking about the through ESXi.
Yeah,
Shoot, hold on. I didn't even I have to go back and look for that one again. Hold on, let me find it real quick.
that sucks that they just don't have like a click button thing. Because in VirtualBox, literally you just click host only and it turns all your stuff off. Too.
Hold on real quick.
Careful. Like the way that I typically, matter of fact, I've already tested my VPN router out, so I already know it.
For this net on this environment, if you look, this switch right here, vSwitch 0, is pretty much set up as my malware testing lab. So in it houses the Remnix, the Flare VM, which for the both for malware, and then also the Pfsense as well. So all of those are housed under there.
Oh, that's cool how you can visualize like the actual port stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was one of the benefits for it. And I'm glad I actually got this before the VMware thing happened, because now they no longer have so when I was there, they had a licensing program where they pretty much they let the entire licensing program team go, except one person. So they no longer do licensing anymore. It's more on a subscription basis now. So you can't just buy an individual license and use it for ever. It's like a subscription type thing now. So with this was one of the
so you got grandfathered in pretty much.
And I'm glad I got this one before I left.
Nice.
This one was the ESXi 8. So this one I don't think was introduced or let out to everybody just yet. So I got this one when it was in the beta stages. So when it updates, it just updates to the newest one. So now
Cool.
I like how it lets you visualize all of these things, which one of these is connected to. Like, you can see
And for
physical
people that
data.
don't know, why is it important that you have this set up the way that you do?
So it's important to have, well, for the people who weren't on before.
Yeah.
So I have it set up like this so I can segment my network, at least for my malware testing lab here, to segment my Remnix and Flare VM so that the malware doesn't jump off those boxes onto any of my other virtual machines here. So which allows me to actually go into, like, say for instance, let's go to Remnix. Instead of being able to have access to the internet, I could actually go to Actions, go to Edit Settings, and then click Disconnect here so that this adapter doesn't allow it to connect to the internet. That way, when I start running a lot of my tests or malware inside of it, that I could actually do like malware analysis testing on, or look at maybe like how things are implemented or how I could actually remedy those particular attacks inside of that system. It allows me to go in and do that without it connecting to the internet. But since they cohesively talk to each other and they're on the same network, I'm able to have those two virtual machines, Remnix and Flare VM, talk to each other and have all the necessary tools inside of both of those boxes. That way I can fix the issue while it's in there, as well as like discharge attacks from one box to the other one, but also fix the issue from one box that's coming from the other one. So that's the purpose of why that malware analysis, the port groups and the switches and things like that in that area were set up like that. and I
Right.
also set them up using Pfsense, creating rules in there as well in order to have them be able to talk to each other, but also have rules set up for them not to be able to get to the internet.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's one
Yes.
thing.
Especially and especially to actually to protect your actual physical host as well, right?
Yes, because it can jump off of there.
Hmm.
So you definitely don't want to
Yeah, super important. Definitely, very important to highlight the proper malware handling when you're doing stuff like this because it's really no joke. Like you don't want your credentials or phone number or whatever to be leaked on darknet or even worse, have a fucking APT persistent on your network using all of your devices to mine crypto or some shit. Yeah,
and
that's not good.
another thing is too, a lot of people have this thing where they use their work laptops for a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Whenever you're doing this, don't do that because you can easily access your home network like your like your 10 my 10.0.0.37. I can access that because I'm on my same Wi-Fi at home. But if I was to use my work laptop, and let's say for instance that the internet was connected to it, that's not a good thing because if that malware jumps off there and gets onto your work host, and
Yep.
now you have a separate set of issues because now you're a part of the security team, but the
Right.
security team is you're firing off alerts for your own self.
Right. And
So,
you know, so and typically how that would happen is if your network's compromised, they can use the ARP protocol to actually find and enumerate devices using something like Wireshark to see what all devices are running on your network and what's
mhm.
all talking to your gateway. So say they find, like you mentioned, your work host, they can get that MAC address and then start doing with that information they can start trying to um, trying to gain access to that as well. So yeah, that's definitely why it's important as well.
And the other thing is the purpose of the connection between the physical network. I'm sorry, the purpose of that pfSense firewall is serving, which this is for the edge connection between the physical network and the edge connection between both V switches. It's basically going to give you the ability to filter traffic and extra layer of protection. Aside from just using that host only option that you can click the button on here for,
Yep.
it just provides that for you as well too. So
Yeah, that's
that
sick. Have you it would be really cool if you could get your I see you got Splunk on some of these. Do you have that firewall, those firewall logs feeding anything?
so I'm slowly building it out. And one of the things I talked to one of the other guys that I know, and which is what made me kind of slow down on building all of this out just for right now, is I'm gonna have to set up, well, just sit down and draw out, or probably collaborate with some people and sit down and pretty much draw out my network and how I wanted to set
Mm-hmm.
up what I wanted to look like instead of just going little by little and doing different things. It's gonna be kind of scatterbrained if I do it that way. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of doing that, having a solid plan, let's say, hey, look, this is what I want my network to look like. This is what I want it to do, and these are all the tools that I want to implement in it. So that's the biggest thing that I want to do to kind of make sure that it's going to make sense because me doing these like the malware analysis lab, that was its own individual little thing. So that really doesn't matter. That's okay. The part that I was worried about is wanting to build out an environment where all the tools and stuff are going to cohesively go together. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Splunk instance of what I recently did. Um, this environment here. Uh, so so this is where my Splunk is, and I'm actually about to build out SOAR too. One of the other organizations that I'm a part of, I'm gonna go in like as an apprentice instructor for XDR.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff that we're gonna be doing is like building out the SOAR platform, but
Yes.
he's getting all the information as far as to how much we need or like how much you have to purchase at a time, how many gigs you can get.
Yeah.
So for me, you can use the community version of SOAR, which is Phantom, which is the one I'm actually about to start doing here soon. I'm not sure when. I have all the instructions. It was hard for me to find the instructions before, but now that I have them, I'm gonna set that up and then pretty much just start loading that in. So that could be my platform for like my sim, and then also using this enterprise right here. So my Splunk instance won't expire until 2030. I'm sorry, 2038.
Nice.
I don't have to worry about this instance at all. It'll be here as long as I don't pretty much cause any well, I don't know, I forget what it's called, like penalties or whatever it's called, that cause you to lose it or whatnot. But I've been practicing like some like things like this index equals web and looking at my uh like all of
What
my
about your web?
hmm?
Are your DNS traffic and stuff, your web traffic?
Yep, data sets, looking at the models, looking at pretty much the indexes that I
Right.
have, tracking fields and creating tags.
So when you do your indexes and stuff, do you have to create your index? I've never set up Splunk from like a bare bones fucking perspective. Like, do you have to create the models for that, or do they have like presets type of thing or something?
So you can import. So where is it? There's an option to import or ingest like different things into it. Like say for instance, index is here. You could actually create an index, like a new index right here, and then you could put all your stuff in here, which is some of the things that we did. Like if you look over to the left right here where it says audit, things like that, the max sizes shows there. Um, you could actually build these out. I'll open up audit. Matter of fact, let me see which one. Where's the Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And
Cisco,
then
like
you
this
have to
Cisco
go
one.
in and like, oh, good.
Oh, I was gonna say this Cisco one right here. This is one that was added on, but you can go in here and make different changes. You can add stuff to it. Also the other part of it is you could actually give it admin rights and stuff like that, or put on there who can access it or who can make changes to it. Like if you're an admin, of course you can make changes to it, but it's a lot of different things with Splunk you can do that'll
Yeah.
allow you to make changes, add indexes, and create different things that way allow whenever you start searching things. Like for us when I was at VMware, they had like you could do index equals carbon black, and then you could put in IP address equals X, Y, and Z, and then like start like breaking down that pretty much down to the little bits, which allow you to get exactly what you want, especially when you're examining alerts. Like if you pull that information, it'll basically show you everything that has that IP address, the timestamps, which will correlate then with Splunk SOAR or Phantom SOAR, which you can see, okay, well, this timestamp was here and this entry was here. You put them together, but also the biggest thing that you want to make sure is your time frame. I mean, your time zones match, because we had ran into an issue one time where the time zone in Splunk Enterprise was not the same time zone as Splunk Phantom SOAR. So that way they can match up with each other and you can kind of correlate your logs and stuff like that with one another.
That's cool. Yeah, I think yeah, SOAR is really really good to learn right now. I'm trying to learn like SOAR for Azure Sentinel, their automation tools and stuff as well. So yeah, man, that's it.
Like this, it's like building out these environments, just like playing around with different things. It's actually fun.
That's how you learn, dude. Yeah, it's fun, and it's also how you learn the most too. It's like by being frustrated, not being able to figure something out, and then actually figuring it out.
Yeah, there's been
Um,
plenty of time I'm ready to throw this computer. Like, get
trust me, me too. Hey, a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, I was so mad, man. I couldn't RDP into my Caldera, my Ubuntu box, man, and it ended up just being a space. It was a default space in the fucking username field, and we're spending like 2 hours trying to figure out what the problem was.
right.
So
You're sitting there looking at it just like, I know it's simple. Why can't you just tell me exactly what it
yeah,
is?
that's cool though, man. I think I think you explained. I'm not sure if you want to go more in depth with your malware lab, but I think you explained really well to anybody out there that hasn't really handled malware or whatnot. The importance, the very first thing anybody needs to know is safety and proper handling, and why
Yes.
you need to segment the network, why you should only be using a host-only connection when you're actually detonating malware, and then snapshots as well, right? So
Hmm.
I always have a snapshot that you can revert back to. Um, that way
Speaking
you
of
just kind of
those,
keep track. You
speaking of snapshots, I definitely have snapshots too, because if you get to a point where you pretty much messed up your system and you just need a fresh start, just refer yourself back to that main one and you're good to go.
Yep.
Because I've done that a few times, especially with Security Onion when I was playing around in it.
Yeah.
But a few times where I was just like, you know what? Yep, I done broke it.
Hey Brian, if you're done, I can well, I'm not sure if you want to keep going.
Oh no,
That's
you're good.
cool.
That was all I had.
I want to